children's books can also be for the grown-ups. Now today we are going to have a very special guest, possibly a unicorn. Well, no, there is a unicorn coming up, but before we bring him out, we need to warm ourselves up as an audience. And today we are going to celebrate the works of my favorite author, Bob Shea. We have a poster of him. This is Bob Shea. He writes kids' books. He writes about unicorns and dinosaurs. And before we begin, we're going to do Dinosaur versus the library.
Go Dinosaur. Am I right?
This is Dinosaur. Now, every time you see Dinosaur, I need you to roar. Let's try it one more time. So, that's pretty awesome. All right, are we ready?
Yep.
This is Dinosaur versus the Library by Bob Shea. So, I'm a dinosaur. I'm roaring to the library. Come roar with me. So, Dinosaur versus a cow. Now, what sound does a cow make? Very good. These will get more difficult as we go along. So,
What's capacitor make?
Dinosaur versus a cow. Dinosaur wins! Yay! Dinosaur versus baby chicks. Those are some decent baby chicks, but Dinosaur wins! Okay, are you ready? Dinosaur versus a shy turtle.
Turtle.
I told you they got more difficult. Dinosaur wins! All right. Dinosaur versus a sad owl. Aw, boo-hoo-hoo. Versus Dinosaur? Dinosaur wins again! Now, Dinosaur will roar where no one has roared before at Rochesterfest with the librarians. So, give it your best. No Dinosaur, use your inside roar. Okay. Now, it's time for story time.
Yes.
But, wait, can he do it? Can Dinosaur not roar for an entire story?
I don't think so.
No? Dinosaur loses and the library wins. All right. The end.
I can post the Zuckle page.
And for our next and final story, it's going to be a little interactive as well. This is actually not a book. This is a performance piece that that Bob Shea wrote for the Texas Book Festival that I've wanted to do for not quite a year. So if you'll excuse me, I need to get ready.
Only one that's good, but Jesus.
Yo!
Do I look like a unicorn?
No!
Yeah.
No?
Turn sideways. Oh.
Oh yeah, now you do. There.
So we are doing Randy the Lonely Unicorn with very special guest, Randy the Unicorn. Are you guys ready? Should we cheer on Randy?
Go Randy!
All right. Without further ado, give it up for Randy the Unicorn! Randy beautiful creature to ever walk the earth, which is why everyone hated him.
What?
The fish were jealous of his fantastic prancing.
Is that why they spit at me?
Prance!
Should he prance?
Yeah.
The birds were jealous of his flying.
Is that why they put fruit on my horn?
Squirrels were jealous of his magic.
Is that why they threw garbage at me?
That is why they threw garbage at you.
Aww.
I know. Luckily, little kids aren't like fish, birds, or squirrels. They love prancing, flying, and especially magic. If Randy saw a kid in the woods, he always stopped to play.
Yay!
And for a while, Randy the lonely unicorn wasn't very lonely. But at the end of the day, Randy gave the kids a stern warning.
You mustn't tell anyone about me. Do yourself a favor. Keep your mouth shut. Look, we both had fun, but it's better if we don't tell anyone about this, okay?
But being friends with the unicorn is kind of a big deal. So, one by one, they all told. And one by one, they all turned to stone. And again, Randy was alone. He was done with kids for good.
Prance!
Why did they turn to stone?
It doesn't matter.
It's kind of a plot hole, don't you think?
Don't worry about it, Randy. Look, I didn't write this. Bob Shea did. We're performing this? Okay. Excuse us. And once again, Randy was alone because he asked too many questions. He was done with kids for good.
I've had it.
Until Elizabeth. Elizabeth was the sweetest, gentlest kid who ever wandered the woods. Every day, she would appear in a sunny meadow and dance. But Randy kept his distance. He watched Elizabeth for weeks. He didn't want the little girl to turn to stone like others. But he was lonely, and she was so very sweet. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry
Rewrite
about
that.
that. I'll rewrite that. Randy, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't get any better. Randy watched Elizabeth for weeks, dancing along with her every move until the day he thought his heart would burst from his chest. Then, finally, Randy stepped from the shadows and danced, and it was lovely.
Like no one was watching.
Randy dreaded saying goodbye. He gave her the sternest warning of them all, knowing that he may never see her again. Elizabeth said, "See you tomorrow." Her words cut Randy deep. How could he do this to this innocent girl?
I don't know.
Why couldn't he just stay lonely?
I'm weak.
So that's it, right? She turns to stone?
No, say no.
No.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
I'm not.
I'm just kidding. She came back the next day.
Oh, thank goodness.
And the day after that, and the day after that. Randy and Elizabeth were the bestest of best friends ever. They beat up the mean fish together. They tied weights on the awful birds together. They painted rocks to look like nuts for the nasty squirrels to snack on.
They hate this.
They even put a little unicorn ballerina act together.
See it.
Did they prance?
But best of all, Elizabeth knew how to keep her mouth shut. Because Elizabeth had no one else to tell. Just an awful twin brother, Albert.
Oh boy. Am I right?
Albert lived to make Elizabeth miserable. He would bite Elizabeth for no reason, break her toys, and burn her books. Worst of all, he ate all the cake.
Oh, what did her parents do?
They gave him more cake. Most people love their kids equally. These two love them alphabetically.
Albert begins with A, Elizabeth begins with E, so yes.
Very good, Randy. But starts with A. Albert hadn't been so happy lately. Making Elizabeth miserable hasn't been so easy. No matter what he breaks or how hard he bites, she just doesn't care. One time, just for a second, she may have actually smiled. Drove Albert nuts. He had to find out what was making Elizabeth so happy and kill it. So the next day, Albert followed Elizabeth into the woods. She passed some black and blue fish. He passed some exhausted birds, past some toothless squirrels. Then he saw it. He couldn't believe his eyes. It was the most wonderful unicorn ballerina duo he had ever seen.
Grapevine.
A single tear ran down his cake-smeared face. His hands came together to clap, but rubbed together like an evil person.
Jerk.
Bah! He yelled as he leapt through the bushes. He pointed to Randy. They're gonna lock you in a big mean zoo. He pointed to Elizabeth. They're gonna lock you in a room with me. He pointed to both of them. And you will never see each other ever again.
No, no, please.
Begged Randy.
I'll do anything.
He made it rain cupcakes. He did his finest prancing. He even taught Albert how to fly. But Albert didn't care. He ran off to tell his delicious secret, which was sort of weird since you just taught him how to fly. Randy began to cry. It's okay, said Elizabeth. We'll find a way to thank him. In the end, they decided to make Albert the centerpiece of the act. The end. Let's give it up for Randy the Unicorn and Elizabeth and Albert. And thank you all very much. That is the end of Adult Storytime for Kids. Come back, we have regular story times, and we have a ton of activities at the library, including our community art project. If you'd like to come and paint a tile, we're asking everyone to do that. Or if you want to say hi to Randy afterwards, he might be up for that. Randy, are you up for that? Cool. All right, so wave hi, and thank you all very much.